everybody. Welcome to Raw Takes and Co. It's a special Saturday edition. Matthias is off this week, but Jake is in and I'm in. We're going to get right to it. Jake, how you doing today, my friend?
I'm good. Had a nice little Saturday morning, ready to get a nice recording session in and do a weekend edition. Can't beat that.
First time we're recording on a Saturday, and you might be watching on the Saturday we upload it because this is going online right after we record it. So great to be with everybody for episode 30 of Raw Takes and Co.
Wow.
Yeah,
30?
30 episodes, and we took that 4 or 5 week hiatus in between, so we could have been at above 30 at this point. We could be at
That's
35,
crazy that it's up
36,
any of them.
but
Wow.
we got a lot to get to today. We got some NBA to talk about. Giannis Antetokounmpo finally on the move, and it's for real this time. Although the rumor is he never wanted to leave Milwaukee in the first place. We got some stuff to talk about with the WNBA with Caitlin Clark. We also have to talk about Major League Baseball later on. The White Sox are somehow in first place. Better team than anyone may have thought 13 years early because it was supposed to be a 15-year rebuild. And the FIFA World Cup, of course. And Jake is my World Cup expert, so I'm going to defer to him for a lot of that. But let's get things started right away with the move to Miami. Giannis Antetokounmpo finally traded to the Miami Heat. And I'd say it's a long time coming. And now the Miami Heat are going to be a team to watch for in the 2026-27 NBA season. I really like the move for the Miami Heat. And a lot of people are saying it's similar to what the Bucks were already. I don't think it is. The Miami Heat are a better team than the Milwaukee Bucks that's currently constructed. Bam Adebayo, I mean, Giannis kind of with no more Eric Bledsoe, and Eric Bledsoe wasn't there for the championship, but with no more Eric Bledsoe when he had him all those years, and no more Chris Middleton and those guys in their primes too, and no more like Brooke Lopez or Pat Connaughton and all those guys or Malcolm Brogdon. The Bucks as constructed were not nearly what they used to be, and I don't see
They
that
were,
in construction with Miami. I think
yeah.
Bam Adebayo is a great wingman to have. Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, the Bucks were kind of a rebuilding team with Giannis in the middle of it, so they couldn't truly rebuild. I think that's a good point. Like they were embracing their youth movement, except they had a superstar sitting in the middle of it. And I do think they made the right decision with the way that their roster is currently constructed to say, let's go through with this youth movement. Let's add some draft picks. Let's add Tyler Hero and let's rebuild back up. And as you said, from Miami's perspective, I would say this, there's not any team in the league that I would say made a bad decision to trade for Giannis. Right? You
Mhm.
could argue that some teams maybe it doesn't fit their timeline. Like, yeah, if he got traded to, Charlotte or Washington or Utah, like maybe it doesn't fit, but you still added Giannis. So for the Heat, it's a no-brainer. If he wants to play in Miami, which who wouldn't, you know, him and Bam are a really interesting duo that I'm interested to watch. I'm intrigued by how that works. I do think the rest of the roster is a little bit weak, but I think Giannis is the kind of guy when he's motivated that can elevate a roster, right? You put a couple of shooters around this team, a couple of guys who can hit their shots. You got Bam and Giannis kind of to hold down the interior. Let's add some perimeter guys. Let's see what we can do. And Matthias texted it to us too. Like they develop guards better than anybody. They're going to be able to put guards around this team, and they have heat culture, which I know is cliche and stereotyping in 2026 for the Heat, but they've had heat culture for 20 years and it still hasn't gone away. It's the same people at the top. It's still Eric Spoelstra. It's still all the same guys. Heat culture is still there, and there's something to be said about that with a superstar now in the fold.
I mean, I think it elevates Miami completely. I expect them to be a top four seed next year.
Yeah.
I, I, the East though is going to be weird because honestly, the East coming back to 2026-27, I think with this move, the East now looks more stacked than the West to a degree because I look at Boston. Obviously, Jaylen Brown's probably going to be on the move, so that team might get weaker. But Jason
But they'll
Tatum's
have,
still
yeah.
there,
Tatum's
so
going to be fully
yeah.
healthy, and
Mhm.
they're going to get value for Jaylen Brown. So
They
they're going to get
will.
people in.
I mean, and then Cleveland's still in the mix. I don't know if I trust the Cavs yet with what they have going on, so I'm not even going to put them on a high pedestal. Obviously, the Knicks. Indiana's going to be back and healthy. They do not
Yep.
have Miles Turner anymore, though. That's going to be a big loss, but they did build in the draft. And Tyrese Halliburton's coming back. They still have Pascal Siakam. I think Indiana is going
Yep.
to bounce back. Um, Washington has some nice players, but I don't think they're a well constructed team. I expect them to be more like a bubble team, not a
The
contender
Pistons
by
are still
any
there.
measure.
Who's
Huh?
the one seed? The Pistons, who are the one seed, are
Pistons,
still
the
around.
Pistons. You said the Pistons. Perfect. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't forget about the Pistons. Pistons are going to be expected to get better this offseason, too.
Yep.
East, to me, might be the
You
better
know how I
conference.
feel about Philly?
I mean, VJ Edgecombe is a great third piece to have with Tyrese
Yeah, you
Maxey,
know
but
how I
Joel
feel about
Embiid's
the
got to stay
Sixers.
healthy.
If he's on the court, man,
Yeah.
I'm
Philadelphia
gonna
still
be,
has yet to go beyond the second round with Joel Embiid. His entire
well,
time is the process.
that's
So
true.
I can't promise Philly's going to go
You know
far.
how I feel about Maxi.
We'll see. I don't expect
Yeah.
Philly to be top notch, but they're in the mix. I won't take them out of the mix. I
Yeah, I
agree.
guess the thing for the East is they may not be top heavy like the West, because the
Mhm.
West has OKC and San Antonio and Minnesota, who you
Mhm.
could say are like three really, really like the East.
Speaking of Minnesota, let's transition to that trade as
Yeah,
well.
the East has a lot of
Mhm.
pretty decent teams that are going to make a push, or the West has, well, the East has the Knicks, but the West has those powerhouse teams, one of whom we mentioned the Timberwolves. I'll let you go here, who just had a LaMelo Ball.
Mhm. And I would say in today's NBA, the Knicks are a powerhouse team. So
Well, yeah, they just won the championship, so I
uh-huh.
can't, they're not. But
Jalen
LaMelo,
Brunson is definitely an all-time NBA great at this point. I think we established that last episode, but
who, Brunson?
yeah,
Just a awesome career arc to go
agreed.
from bench player, third or fourth best player on the Mavericks, was
Mhm.
always behind Luca. And then the Knicks took the ultimate chance and they believed in him. And he's done everything he can to,
Mhm.
he's paid that off in more than they could have ever imagined by winning a championship.
All right, let's move on though, because you did mention Minnesota. Let's touch
Yeah,
briefly on the trade for LaMelo Ball. I think this makes the Timberwolves a very top-heavy team. I know you mentioned that earlier. I think the Nuggets are slowly starting to fade in the West.
I
And I'm
agree.
sorry, I do not believe in Kevin Durant on a team anymore. I don't think he has the attitude to win championships. And it
I
sucks
also,
for Alperen Şengün because I think Şengün's a great player, and I think Ime Udoka is a great coach. I just don't think Houston's going to be a great situation. And the Lakers
bad
are going to
situation.
lose LeBron, but they're still going to be pretty good. They did sign Austin Reeves, so I think we should throw that in there. But I think the Timberwolves got exponentially better with this move, in my opinion, and I expect the T Wolves to be competing with OKC and San Antonio next year.
Yeah, and I agree. And again, I'm going to bring up what Matthias texted us because obviously he's not here, but he had to get his thoughts in. His was, and this is obvious and it's for every team, but I think it really ranged true for the Timberwolves. If everyone can stay healthy, because LaMelo Ball has had a history of not being healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And, if he's also had him and Anthony Edwards, to put it delicately, aren't the greatest off court combination you could have. So there's also some of that to this. But if they stay healthy and they stay fine off the court and they play 70 plus games each, I agree. I think this is a really interesting roster. I still love the way they play defense. That's not going to go away. They still have Rudy Gobert to anchor the defense. They still have Jaden McDaniels to anchor the defense. They still have Io DeSumo to anchor. So they have the guys to still build that Timberwolf defense. But now you have a point guard who is an incredible distributor and a guy that I don't think the casual NBA fan realizes is good now. I think there was a lot of bad press about LaMelo, much to his last name being Ball and all of the stuff surrounding that family. He's developed into a really, really good NBA player who can score, who can pass. He's not a defender, but nobody is anymore.
Well, he's a lot better than his brother Lonzo, that's for sure too.
Well, yes. And I think it's when you take away his last name and all of the stuff that was said about him, and you just look at the stats and watch the games, LaMelo's turned into a really great player. And I think the Timberwolves are going to be very happy to have him as your point guard next to Anthony Edwards these guys are both 24 years old. This is a 10-year thing of these two, if they want it to be, and it works.
Absolutely. I think you are 100% correct. And it's going to be interesting to see how this transpires. And to me, the Timberwolves, if they get to a finals, this is the other thing I want to put to bed here. The T Wolves, I think, are absolutely finals contenders. And I think the whole Julius Randle, KAT, Karl Anthony Towns trade, I think that starts to slowly fade away if Minnesota also goes to the finals. Because it's so far, it's not working for Minnesota. They just haven't gotten to the finals yet. New York did immediately go to the finals, so I get that, but and got a championship. But I don't think we should just slow it. It's like the Detroit Lions, Los Angeles Rams, Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff trade to me a little bit. But we'll have
I
to
think
see.
that
The T Wolves
it's
have to translate to a title. I agree with
just at the beginning, yeah, that trade looked like the Rams won, and then you're kind of like, not really, because Jared Goff's been good. I do think at the end of the day, the Timberwolves will be okay without Cat.
I agree.
And now without Julius Randle, because he also got traded, I think.
Oh, he did get traded? I think he's still
I
with
think
the
he
team.
got I think he got moved somewhere else.
I'm
I
going to
thought I
double
saw
check
that.
that because I don't want to give our viewers wrong
Yeah,
information.
let's see.
He is he's still on the Timberwolves. No trade. He's still a Timberwolf.
I thought I saw that he got traded. Yeah, he got traded to the Nets.
Is that not official then yet?
Maybe it's not
Okay, then the
official
trade.
official, but he is.
Okay, well then the trade didn't work out for Minnesota. Move on. My bad.
Yeah, I was
My
gonna say,
bad.
wait a
Bryce
minute.
is
I
right.
don't think because yeah,
He's
there
a
was a
veteran. The Nets stink anyway, and they're one of the worst basketball teams of all time, especially after that one guy put in the basket for Detroit. So I don't even remember his name. That's how bad the Nets are. They scored 67 points in a game this year, too. It was pretty abysmal. Sorry, Brooklyn Net fans. I know you had KD, James Harden, and Kyrie, and it didn't work out. And I'm sorry, it's still not going to work out. And the thing is, too, I just going to bring this up. They had D'Angelo Russell, and things were going well, and they could have built around him, and they chose to go get better stars. But who knows what that could have turned into, too. But
the people
D'Angelo
running
Russell
the
there was
Nets.
something else.
The people that run the Nets are not the best at team building. They
No,
think
they're
let's
not.
trade for old people, old players, and put them all together, and then have an old roster. And then when it doesn't work, we have nothing.
And all the crap that's talked about James Dolan, the guy has a ring now. I think New
Sure
York
does.
calm down about James Dolan now.
They're still going to complain,
I
which is
know.
fine because
He won them a
that's what's.
championship, and he did what it took to win that championship. They need to give him,
Yep.
honestly. I'm not
They
saying he's
probably
been the
will,
best
but
owner,
in
but
3 years, when they've forgotten about that championship, they're going to hate him again.
yeah, but still, the man did what it took to win them a
Hey,
championship. I'm
I
sorry.
would
Yeah,
if I'm a Knick fan, I'm having the time of my life every single day right now. I'm the
agreed.
happiest.
When we were Cavs fans, we are Cavs fans, but we certainly were
I
happy
was
10 years
basking in
ago.
that. I think I was basking in that championship for 3 months.
People still are going through the motions with it, but we're in a 10-year
I
drought now again, so
It's a little different.
it is.
10 years after,
Oh.
and you haven't done anything else.
Well, hey, we got one, and we're gonna have another at some point. Come on, Guardians, pull something out of a hat this year. We'll talk baseball here in a few.
They're
Uh,
not good.
let's move on to the WNBA, shall we? Honestly, the NBA draft didn't impress me, so I'm just gonna leave it there. We could talk about that though in just a second, but I want to kind of move to the WNBA because I think we need to talk about Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark, to me, I mean, what's going on with this league? In all honesty, this is their superstar. This is the WNBA has never had a chance to be more popular. And as a league,
Yeah.
they're failing their potential audience. And I'm saying their potential audience because their potential audience they don't like. It's the people that like Caitlin Clark. It's the people that like Caitlin Clark. They're failing their potential audience to grow. And they didn't even include her on the poster, but they include Angel Reese and they include Paige Beckers. Like, why? What I'm not saying that Paige Beckers is like a disliked player. She has some pretty good fans. Is her fan base as big as Caitlin Clark's? No.
No.
Angel
We need
Reese
to
is
point out
also liked
both
and
of
disliked.
Paige and Angel Reese should have been on the poster. They just should have been there with Caitlin Clark. It should have
Yeah.
been the three of them because they've been the three most popular women's basketball players over the last 3 years. All three of them should have been on the poster because you want to market all three of them. So
Mhm.
it's yeah. How do you have those two and not her? That's a good yeah.
And
That's
also just they're just too they've been roughhousing Caitlin Clark for the last couple of years in the league. But like what happened the other night, I don't even remember who they were playing against. Because
the Mercury, I
I think
think.
it was the Mercury. I think you're right. But that was a disgraceful moment for the league.
If you're the WNBA, you're stoked that everybody's talking about you. But
Mhm.
is this how you want everybody to be talking about you? Because I will say I agree with you. You don't the pundits that were talking about the WNBA were not talking about the WNBA a week ago. But now they are because something crazy happened. And so from a WNBA perspective, you're like, great. No, there's no bad press. All press is good press, except when your most famous player is getting fouled on the ground like that with no call and everybody's talking about it, how does that make you look as a league? It's a very difficult situation that the WNBA is in, and they're not handling it well either.
No, they're handling it terribly. They're a terrible league. That's just the real truth.
And it stinks
Great players in
because,
the league.
correct. And it's actually a really enjoyable league to watch. Women's basketball is, if you compare it to men's basketball, you're going to hate it because it's not the same sport.
Hmm.
It's not flashy athleticism. It's not dunks. It's not deep three pointers. It's technical basketball. It's plays. It's layups. It's they take mid-range jumpers still. Like they don't. It is not a flashy version of the game, but it is a good version of basketball. But the WNBA is not promoting their league, as we've said, the way that they need to. And the people that enjoy the WNBA are even kind of like, what are you guys doing? Like, I'm a fan of the WNBA. I want to watch it, but I'm frustrated in the way that they condone themselves because they don't want anybody else to watch it.
I mean, for me personally, I'll just say this off the record. Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant. I mean, the list goes on and on. Tim Duncan, even I'll throw Tim Duncan in there. Guys that made the NBA what it is.
And they marketed them like it.
Marketed them like crazy. Great marketing. The NBA protected them. The NBA put them on posters, sold jerseys. The Major League Baseball with Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge nowadays.
Hmm.
Pretty good job marketing those two guys, I would say. I think Major League Baseball needs to promote their players more, but they
That's what
promote
I was gonna
Shohei and
say.
yeah. And most people
The
know
MLB
who
is not
Shohei
even,
are. Huh? Go on. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
I would say the MLB is not even that good at marketing, but they still do better than the WNBA.
Well, yeah, I know more players in Major League Baseball. Maybe I am a baseball guy. Basketball's three for me. I'm a baseball guy by nature. So to me, like
Yeah, but
obviously, but like people know who Shohei is. People know who Aaron Judge is. People know Mike Trout. People know Jose Ramirez. People know
but
these
there
guys.
are yeah, there are really good baseball players that people don't know because they don't get marketed, and the WNBA is doing worse than that.
Agreed.
And never going to break, they're probably never going to break into the popularity that they want anyways, but they're never even going to get close if they don't. Look, and I'm not saying that you have to put Caitlin Clark on every billboard and you have to put her
No.
in every promo, but like what they did her rookie season is what they should continue to do. Why can't every game of her, why can't she have one game on ESPN every week? Why can't she have one game on national television every week?
Well, that's the problem. The media is not
Should
helping the WNBA either. They didn't. I'll say this: a lot of the pundits out there did absolutely ridicule the situation that took place the other night against the Mercury, but they don't really encourage Caitlin Clark either. There's a lot of pundits out there that are against Caitlin Clark, and it's
which
like
also,
this
if I'm the
woman has
WNBA,
major league. It's
blows
put it on the
my
map.
mind.
I know more people that talk about the WNBA now than they ever have before prior to Caitlin Clark entering it. They have an opportunity of a lifetime and they
This
refuse.
is it is the golden era of women's basketball right now.
And the
With Clark,
WNBA doesn't
with
care.
Paige, with Angel Reese, with Olivia Miles, with Juju still in college. Like they are in their golden era. This
You
they
know,
need to. I
go on, sorry.
want, if I have a daughter, for her to be able to still watch the WNBA in 10 years because they've marketed it well enough that it's still popular. And we're going to get a team in Cleveland. And I better see that team in Cleveland
Mhm.
be marketed like the Browns and the Cavs. And they're not going to be like the Browns. But even if they get as much marketing as the Cavs, they'll
Well,
be
let's hope
fine.
not.
If they get marketing like the Browns, that would be wild.
The
That's
bottom
a
line
lot.
here is the team in Cleveland is not going to get to the popularity it can get to if the league continues to go down this direction. Hell, in my opinion, I don't even know if they should
Correct.
expand to Cleveland right now because they don't care about their most popular player. Their most popular player. Paige Beckers is popular, fine, but she's not Caitlin Clark popular. I'm sorry. Angel Reese popular, fine. Not Caitlin Clark popular. Olivia Miles is popular, fine. Not Caitlin Clark popular.
No, yeah, that I mean, and she is the most popular player in the league. And they're just not it is a mess what is happening. It is a actual mess.
I mean, honestly, I think people can name more players on the Indiana Fever's roster than any other roster in the league. Like, let's just be honest here. Like, I feel like that's how popular the Indiana Fever have become. Like, I think they're the most popular WNBA team. And I don't even know if people know the name of the Indiana Fever half the time. They just hear Caitlin Clark. I mean, Caitlin Clark is the star of this league, and they do not care. The league
No.
just simply does not care. And it's a damn shame. And honestly, the WNBA deserves to lose money over them. They
Well, they
really
already are losing money.
they are losing money, and they deserve to lose more. They deserve to lose more money because of it. They
I
they
want to
should
say
fold as a league, and Caitlin Clark should form her own league because she'll have the market to do so. And I'm
I
fine if
will
Caitlin Clark forms her own basketball league and brings in Angel Reese and Paige Beckers and Sophie Cunninghams and Olivia Miles and all those players, like the more popular names. I mean, I think that's my opinion, honestly, just fold the WNBA at this point. If this is how you're going to treat your most popular player, Shohei Ohtani, even in baseball, everyone knows who he is. Everyone knows who Nikola Jokic is. Everyone knows who Wemby is. Everyone knows who Tom Brady is, and Patrick Mahomes, and Travis Kelsey, and Miles Garrett. Even I'd throw in there at this point. I mean, people know. I'm not just saying that for Cleveland perspective. T.J. Watt's another big name. I mean, people know who these people are. That those leagues market those guys to get more popular and bring more attraction to their brand. And they refuse to do so in the WNBA, and it's a damn shame. And the league should fold because of it. And that may be a controversial opinion. Start a new women's basketball league and market your players the right way.
I will give the WNBA and the Players Association credit because they did have one positive
Mm-hmm.
over the offseason and the salary raise and what how Caitlyn and all those women pushed for that was huge. And
Mm-hmm.
I do want to give the league credit for that because that was a big thing. That's a big milestone for the future, but let's build on that.
Mm-hmm.
You got them $1 million contracts and they can sign a $1.1 and that's awesome and they deserve it. But let's build on that positivity and let's keep going. Let's make sure that in someday Caitlin Clark should be able to sign a $5 million WNBA contract one day because you market and get the money in the league to be able to do so.
I agree with you 100%, but the way the WNBA is going right now, I don't see that happening. They
It's
they don't want to embrace the greatest gift they could have received. They don't embrace it. They almost are against it because they have principles from prior, and it's a damn shame. And I'm rooting for Caitlin Clark through this, and I'm hoping the Indiana Fever get into a dynasty soon because of all this. I really do.
That
Because
would
if
be
if
nice.
the Indiana Fever win a couple championships and Caitlin Clark is at the helm, you're damn right. People are going to start to watch the WNBA, and maybe the WNBA, once they lose enough money and see the Indiana Fever have a dynasty, will start to finally be like, yeah, let's embrace this. This is what we want to see. And just one more thing on the WNBA. I do want the WNBA to become more popular, but I want them to brand their players better. At least their star player. They could brand Paige Beckers and Angel Reese all they want. They are popular, but they need to brand what's providing the bread for their league, and that's Caitlin Clark. So, yeah, it is a strong opinion on what I said about the WNBA, but I'm going to stick to it because they need to. The NBA wouldn't be where they are today if because Jake, you just told me. I mean, prior to us recording here, you just said, Andrew, the NBA. they market their players so well, it's almost like it's not about basketball.
It's
You're right.
why, and we'll go to the World Cup here in a minute, but I
Yeah,
do think that was a good end to the conversation we had. Yeah, the NBA is 70% marketing. And it's why the regular season is probably watered down. It's why they added the play-in tournament. It's almost become less about basketball and it's more about how can we brand everything. The NBA play-in tournament sponsored by whoever it is. The NBA in-season tournament sponsored by whoever it is because they want to throw the NBA at you. They want to throw Wemby. They want to throw LeBron. They want to throw Luca. They had a play-in tournament. They threw LaMelo Ball at you. Like they want to throw everybody at you that they can because the big names. And so that's I don't want to see the NBA get or the WNBA get that watered down, but I would like to see them. Hey, I would like to see this be hey, here's the WNBA Cup sponsored by whoever. Caitlin Clark and Paige Beckers are going to play in the first round because that's what people want to watch. That's
agreed.
what people want to see. Let's People want to see the World Cup too.
Agreed. People want to see the World Cup. That's absolutely right. And people want to hear us talk about the World Cup. But I'll be very honest with you,
I don't know
Jake.
if that's true, but
Well, there's soccer
we're going to
fans out
try.
there that definitely are paying attention to the World Cup. My grandfather is certainly one of them. He's been giving me some updates, but I'll still be honest with you, Jake. I'm no soccer expert. I know you've been watching, though. I know Messi's been a big deal. Matthias texted us about him because he was off this week. So I'm going to let you take the floor here to talk a little bit about the World Cup and the expectations we could set for the countries that still remain. I know there was some controversy with Iran, I think, meaning
Yeah,
Iran, the
Iran and
soccer
Egypt.
team. I want to emphasize that Iran, the soccer team. So,
The Iran national football team.
yes, the
Yes.
Iran national football team. So, you can go ahead and take over the mic and give us some updates on the World Cup.
Yeah, it's been a fun World Cup. The first World Cup with 48 teams as opposed to 32. There was a lot of controversy surrounding that in general. Just is that too many countries? Are we going to see too many teams just get blown out and not compete? And I think for the most part, we've avoided that, as much as you can. There's always going to be blowouts. I mean, some countries just don't have the budget or you know, the population or the whatever. Um, they qualify in their region because they're have the same budget and population as their little area, but they don't, look, Curacao and Germany are not in the same stratosphere of soccer talent, and that's okay.
I never even knew
Curacao,
Curacao was a country until the World Cup.
yeah,
And literally,
Curacao.
my grandfather and I were watching. I just pardon me for interrupting. And
No,
I said, "What
it's a
country
good
is
point that I'm
Curacao?" I
trying to make.
never heard of it. My
Yes, tiny
grandfather didn't
little
hear of it either.
island in the Caribbean.
It is. It's like right above South America. I think it's right above Venezuela. I think.
Yes.
I never even heard of that country in my life. So I learn about countries via the World Cup.
So yeah, 150,000 people live in the country in total. So
Oh wow,
yeah,
yes,
so the
population.
point that I was getting at was, yeah, it's very cool to see those teams in. I've been excited. They qualified in their region because they got to play against very similar teams. They got to play against Jamaica and the Dominican Republic and Haiti and these other smaller Caribbean countries. So yeah, when they play against Germany, it might be a little lopsided. Curacao was fun to watch. Point that I'm making here is it was fun to watch some of these smaller countries. And the thing with these tournaments, even when they're expanded, is cream's going to rise to the top. We are still going to get really good matchups. I'm really excited for the knockout stage tomorrow, starting on Sunday with Canada and South Africa. This has been a good World Cup. I think the best part of it, and you kind of brought it up with Messi, was the stars have shined at this World Cup, and that's been the best part. Erling Haaland on Norway has scored a bunch of goals. Messi has scored a bunch of goals. Kylian Mbappe on France has scored a bunch of goals. Ronaldo got his couple of goals. Harry Kane on in England, he's gotten some goals. So it's the stars, the names that people know and that people want to watch in this World Cup have really come out to play. That's been a really interesting storyline. The U.S. has played some of the best soccer I've seen them play in a long, long, long time. This looks like the United States is making more of an effort to commit resources to their national soccer team. They are finding players who have nationality and citizenship that grew up in other countries, which I think is helpful. You have a guy like Flo Balogun who was born in the United States but grew up in England. So he got English soccer training but is a citizen of the United States. So you get guys like that who are more talented than players who grow up in America, but they're still Americans. So it's been a nice balance of America's doing a good job of finding guys that are more talented. Um, Argentina, I think, is still the favorite. I think we talked about that a little bit with the Messi side of things. I know everybody's kind of rooting for him just because this is probably his last World Cup. So you want to see him succeed. Um, I want to give a shout out one more last thing here to Cabo Verde, the tiny little African island nation. They advanced to the knockout stage. They're the smallest country to ever make it, so that's cool. There's not a lot of storylines yet, just with the round of 32 just about to start, but I think those are the highlights. Um, Andrew, I need you to book for next week this Ghanaian witch doctor who cursed Harry Kane, because I think he put a curse on Harry Kane that he would not score against Ghana, and then he missed a shot from like 10 feet away. So I think the curse may have worked, and I'd like to book him as a guest to see if maybe he can put a curse on the Steelers next year, because I think that might be fun.
The Steelers might have cursed themselves. They hired Mike McCarthy.
Maybe we or put a curse on the race. Put a curse, a nice. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want anybody to get hurt. But maybe we could just have the Ravens be bad this year. That would be fun. I don't know what whatever this guy needs, I'll pay him. He's a
I'll
good
say this.
guy.
And by the Steelers being cursed, I mean stuck in football purgatory.
Well, yeah. Well, Matthias isn't here, so we can say that kind
I
of
love
stuff.
it. I love when the Steelers are stuck in football purgatory because they're still finishing above 500, might win a playoff game, probably won't win a playoff game, and it makes Steelers fans miserable. And if I was the Browns, I would love that. Like as a Browns fan, I would love that. But it's okay. Uh, let's move on to some Major League Baseball, shall we? Obviously, with the Guardians, injuries are really, really taking a toll. Khalil
Yeah.
Watson, I think now is the better Watson in Cleveland. I think we can all agree with that, right?
I'm down. I'm down for that take. I like that. I'm good with that.
Khalil Watson is
Brian
better than
Rocchio is the
Deshaun
best.
Watson.
Brian Rocchio is the best number four, and Khalil Watson is the best Watson.
Brian Rocchio is the best Guardian that's not injured. Cade Smith is probably two right now. And Cade
Yeah.
Smith had a rough series against the White Sox, and I think Cade Smith's going to be fine the rest of the year. I just want to get that out there. But I still have faith the Guardians are going to string some wins here together, Jake. And here's the reason why:
Because they
the
always
White
do.
Sox are on cloud nine. They're going to come crashing down at some point. That roster,
Probably.
I'd say Andrew Benintendi's an okay player. You know, so there is some decent talent with the White Sox, but I'm also forgetting Miguel Vargas is a good player too. Okay, he's gonna be
Also, Montgomery's breaking out. That's been
Jordan
exciting.
Hicks is in the bullpen and he does a good job. So they have some good talent, but this White Sox team, we talked about them being, you know, we talked about them being
Terrible.
terrible for 15 years. And I think it wasn't going to take 15 years for them to get better. But the big thing is for me, they're going to come crashing down to earth. So I still think the Guardians are going to find a way. And we've seen Stephen Vogt figure things out. We saw him figure things out with the comeback last year, although it didn't really do anything for us in terms of the playoffs. Jose Ramirez is going to come back. So it's not like Jose Ramirez isn't going to be back in the lineup. And by that time, the Guardians could be on a roll. And the Guardians' schedule, if you look at it, it's pretty easy the remainder of the year. And
They
they
really
already took some really important series earlier on
correct.
this year. The
They
team,
got the Dodgers and um, some of the Braves and some of these harder teams early in the year. Like
no, they lost the series to the Braves.
they did, but I mean, they
Yeah,
just played them already. So
they
they don't
played
have
them.
to
Mhm.
see those National League teams again. They've already played all their games against the Yankees. Like they really do have a lighter collection of games in the
Yeah.
next month or so. Now, hopefully they get healthy in the next month or so, but
Mm-hmm.
they certainly have, you know, they've certainly put themselves in a good position to stay afloat.
And if I am the Kansas City Royals, Bobby Witt is hurt. Yeah, I got you. Bobby Witt is hurt. But the bottom line is this. How do you lose a game like that with Salvador Perez and Vinny Pasquantino? Matt
How
Quattraro
do you lose a
could be
game
on the hot
20
seat.
to 1 anyway, or 22 to 1 anyways?
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. How does that
Yeah.
even happen?
Jake does have to get going, everybody. So, Jake, good talking with you as always. He'll be back for next week's Raw Takes and Co. Matthias will be back as well. But anyway, Matt Quattraro
Go
should
guards.
be go guards, absolutely.
Yes, and Matt Quattraro should be fired. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah. I'm sorry. With Bobby Witt on the lineup, along with well, Bobby Witt's hurt, but with Salvador Perez, along with to me, that's the big thing with the Kansas City Royals. I mean, unacceptable loss to the White Sox. White Sox, it's not going to take 15 years for a rebuild. I totally get that, but to me, the White Sox are still streaky. It's going to be interesting to see what takes place, though. They could win this division because the Central does stink. I will say that. Guardians, if they get healthy, though, I still think they would be the top team to win the Central. And they already played the hardest teams, as Jake already mentioned. So we'll have to see what transpires there. You look around the rest of Major League Baseball right now, also taking a look at the MLB standings. The Yankees, obviously, in first place, getting their stride going. Tampa Bay Rays, the Yankees did it without Aaron Judge for a while, too. So got to give the Yankees credit there for staying hot. Tampa Bay Rays, they are currently a game, I believe, no, 2 games, I think, behind. No, it's a game, yeah. A game behind the New York Yankees. So we'll have to see how that transpires. The Rays, always better than I expect them to be. Kevin Cash knows what the hell he's doing, that's for sure. You look at the American League West, Mariners are just barely above 500. That division sucks, guys. The Oakland Athletics, 40-42. Rangers 40-42, Astros 40-44. Astros have kind of caught up lately, but I still don't trust them, especially after the year they had last year. I still think they have a lot of pitching holes. And then the Angels are 34-49. Maybe the Angels are probably out of it, but maybe that is anyone's division over there. The Braves, I mean, the Braves have not been hot lately, but I still think the Braves with Chris Sale and a healthy Ronald Acuna Jr., that's going to be a team to watch. Matt Olson, obviously, forced to be reckoned with offensively, too. You got to mention the fact that the Mets fired Carlos Mendoza, and Mr. Met was partying in that viral video this week. I think that was absolutely hilarious. The Mets are in last place right now, though, and it stinks. The Mets are my second team, so I'm hoping they figure things out, pick up the pieces, and get ready to get back to work. Obviously, you have Frankie Lindor. You have Juan Soto. It's really been pitching, too, has been a problem. And the Mets lost tons of games early in the year, which already put them in such a big hole. The Phillies kind of found their stride again, catching back up. They're definitely in the mix for a wild card spot. Marlins, I mean, they're above 500 right now, but do we really believe in the Marlins? The Nationals do have some hitting. They took the Guardians pretty deep in that series. I think they won 2 or 3 too. So Dodgers lost 2 or 3 to the White Sox and the Guardians. They're still in first place nevertheless, and I think everyone expects them to be. Padres 43-37. Padres got a great lineup. Obviously, we know the Dodgers, they have Shohei, they have Freddie Freeman. We know they have Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who pitched a complete game against the White Sox, almost a no-hitter. But he did a terrific job there, and, he's fun to watch. Great player. Yoshinobu Yamamoto is, pardon me. We know what the Dodgers bring to the table, though. I will say this, though. I would still watch the Atlanta Braves to possibly upset them this year. Well, I'd love to get Matthias and Jake's thoughts on all that. Unfortunately, Matthias couldn't make it today, and Jake had to get going. But fear not, we're going to have plenty more baseball talk coming up next week on Raw Takes and Co. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, as you always do. And as we wrap up here, I have a couple comments to get to as well. So some great points mentioned here. We're going to start off with Chris from Park Avenue. He commented on our Instagram. He commented on the reel about the Las Vegas Golden Knights being the best expansion team in in sports history, North American sports history. So reading Chris from Park Avenue's comment, he said in particular that we were forgetting about the New York Islanders, not the Rangers, pardon me, the New York Islanders, who are an expansion franchise. They came into the league in 1972, won 4 cups in a row in the early 80s with Trottier, Potvin, Billy Smith, Clark Gillies, and a Hall of Fame all in the Hall of Fame from those teams, and Bossy as well, and Trottier. So yeah, that's a great point there, Chris. We really appreciate the comment, giving you a shout out on the show. Thank you so much. Chris from Park Avenue on Instagram commented that. Great point. Great expansion team there. We really didn't look that deep into history. in North American sports history. If we look deeper, we probably would have found the New York Islanders, and we should have done that. So I just want to say thank you so much for that comment. New York Islanders are a great expansion team. Absolutely 100%. Don't disagree with that whatsoever, Chris. So thank you so much for the comment. If Jake and Matthias were here, I'm sure they'd give their answer as well. And then finally, we have a comment from our buddy I Love DK Metcalf, who now is known on YouTube. Of course, he was I Love DK Metcalf, formerly I Love DK Metcalf, commented on the latest Raw Takes and Co. Of course, his name now is A. Rowley, Ohio. Talk about how the MLB Draft League is a vital pipeline for modern professional baseball because it bridges the gap between amateur and professional ranks. It offers top prospects, unprecedented scouting exposure, and state-of-the-art player development using advanced metrics and video, while also keeping competitive, community-focused baseball alive in historical minor league markets. And I actually went to a Mahoning Valley Scrappers game with him in the Youngstown area last week. So I wanted to say thank you so much, Alex, for that, because you're a good buddy of mine. And thank you for the comment as well. Yeah, the MLB Draft League, they're developing young players and getting them ready for Major League Baseball at a high level. So going to be interesting to see what those players do in those leagues as they get drafted into Major League Baseball as well. So big things coming out of Major League Baseball, the Draft League, of course, and big things coming out of the Chicago White Sox somehow, who were a AAA team a few years ago. Double A team, maybe high A, low A, I don't know. Chicago White Sox are good now. I need to give the White Sox some more respect, although they're still in the division with the Guardians, so I'm biased. But anyway, that's going to be it for today's edition of Raw Takes and Co. If you agree, disagree, we don't care. Give us your comments in the video below. Give us a comment on our reels. We really appreciate it. We'll read it like we did. Chris from Park Avenue on Instagram commented on one of our reels, and A. Rowley, Ohio commented on episode 29 of Raw Takes and Co. So thank you guys so much. Have a great week. We will be back with you next week, probably earlier on in the week, maybe Thursday or Friday. So stay tuned for the next Raw Takes and Co. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and thank you so much for tuning into today's episode.